Okay, can everyone hear me now? Oh, perfect. Everyone can hear me. Okay, I'm just going to log out the other computer. Hold on. Okay, let me just pause it. Right, okay. This is just so weird. It just, as soon as I logged in, it just logged me straight back out. But hopefully everyone can hear me now. Yeah, I'm actually on my MacBook. I was using a Chromebook because I just thought that would be easier. But yeah, I'm on the MacBook now, so that's why everything sounds a bit better. Okay, perfect. So yeah, sorry for all of the earlier mishaps. This is my first ever live stream doing it on my own. I really don't know how Anon and Light Skin Motivation did it. It's a lot of work. Believe me, it's a lot of work. But I just thought it'd be really nice to add on to the tribute to them, to just do something to mark the time that we used to spend with them, especially like now, and really just to keep the momentum up and not to let this anti-light skin movement go unrebuked. And I think it's important that we all speak out in our own ways. We all have our own messages. We all have our own valid ways of dealing with this. And I just think that's one of the things that I wanted to do today. But that's why I wanted to start the broadcast with a nice tribute to light-skinned men, and just instead of looking at light-skinned men through the prism of blackness and all of these things that we're measured against in order to tell us what we're not, let's look at light-skinned men through the prism of power, the 48 laws of power to be exact, because to be quite honest, if we want to build a light-skinned community, we need to build a community of strong men who can lead, who are going to gain power. Your community is only going to be as great as the men and the women that create it. And men without power, they're not men. So I think it's important to look at light-skinned men, not necessarily light-skinned black men, but light-skinned men in general, through the prism of that philosophy. So yes, so let's get started. I'm not sure how many of you have read Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, but I've read it twice. I love the book, and I think by focusing on things that will affect us, well, which will elevate us both individually and as a group, if we measure ourselves against proper principles, power, seduction, resources, I think we'll be in a better position to build the light-skinned community that we want to see, and make sure that it's fully functioning and capable of delivering the future children that we want. Hold on, my children are just getting a bit loud. Hold on a moment. Yes, I'm back. Children were getting a bit rowdy. Okay, so I'll begin. I have put the link in because if anyone wants to chime in, because I'm going to give examples of basically celebrity light-skinned men that I've seen in relation to these laws of power, and also talking a little bit about the stereotypes as to why light-skinned men either achieve or don't achieve the 48 laws principles. And because in the UK, I don't have a huge range of light-skinned people to draw from, I will be using celebrity examples and examples that I know within my own peer group, my own family. But if anyone wants to chime in, because they've got a good example as to why a light-skinned person, a light-skinned man has achieved or doesn't achieve one of the laws, feel free to just come in on the live and just come in on the broadcast, and you can give your own synopsis as to why you feel that a light-skinned man has achieved that law. Okay, so I'm just going to start with law 1. Oh goodness, I'm going to have to look the laws up. It was on the other computer, all lovely typed up. Let me just go into my, it's on my Gmail, 48 laws of power. 48 laws of power. Chapter. Right, okay. So you have law 1, which is to never outshine the master. And when you think about a light-skinned man, depending on what group he's grown up in, either he would have grown up in a black group or a white group. And I think as part of that, as part of that conditioning, I believe that light-skinned men do not outshine the master of any group because of the periphery that light-skinned men sit on the outside. So I think in terms of law 1, light-skinned men achieve that. I don't know if that's necessarily intentional. I think a lot of that achievement is environmental, but nevertheless, it's an achievement. Do not outshine the master. Whoever you identify the master to be, do not outshine them. It will be to your detriment. So light-skinned men, you score 1 on that. Or unless someone doesn't agree, feel free to put it in the chat as to why you agree or don't agree. Okay, so far, no one is in opposition. Perfect. Okay, so law 2. Let me just go back. Right, law 2. Okay, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies. In terms of light-skinned men, I would say, in terms of law 2, it's achieved in part and it's also not achieved in part. And the reason why I say it's not, the reason why I would say it's not achieved in part is, I think as light-skinned people in general, we learn to not put trust in friends because we don't on the face of it belong to any one group, and therefore outwardly we are different. And I think when you build friends when you make friends with people and they set you up or betray you or set you up to be stupid or set you up to failing something, I think we as light-skinned people, because we don't have a lot of backing, especially light-skinned black men don't have a lot of backing, I think that we learned very early on not to put too much trust into people. I remember when I went to secondary school, there was this light-skinned boy in my year, and all the darker skinned guys didn't pick on him, like denigrate him, call him names. They would always make fun out of the choices he'd make. So I remember at the time, TLC were the group, and all the guys liked T-Boz, and they said to him, "Oh, Mark, which one of the ladies do you like?" And he said that he liked, I can't remember the name of the lady who died. It wasn't Chili. There was Chili, T-Boz, Chili, T-Boz. I can't remember the name of the other one. Well, Chili, T-Boz, and the lady that died. Well, the lady that died, the crazy little light-skinned lady. He liked her. Left Eye, yeah, that's the one. Thank you, biracial Freddy Krueger. Left Eye, yes. He liked her. But everyone thought that she wasn't as good looking as the other two, or she didn't have that, whatever it was that guys like. And they started to ridicule him for it. And I remember after that, whenever they would ask who he liked, he would always ask them first who they liked, and then they would tell him, and he would always then agree with them. So I think early on, light-skinned men learn that you can't put too much trust into people. But also, where it relates to learning how to use your enemies, I think in many ways, light-skinned men don't know how to use their enemies. And I think that's simply, again, environmental, because we have very little backing. If we use our enemies, if that goes wrong, there's someone to back us up or to protect us if that exercise goes wrong. So I don't think we take calculated, well, I don't think light-skinned men take calculated risks in that respect. So I would say you get a half from that law. So far, light-skinned men, you're on 1.5. 1.5. Law 3, conceal your intentions. And again, I think based on the example that I gave from my peer group, my Mark learned not to be overt in his intentions, his likes, because it was always going to be thrown in his face and used against him. And not because they were wrong, but because he was different and he could be easily victimized. And people would always jump on the bandwagon and be like, "Oh, what you're saying is wrong." So I think in that respect, light-skinned men are very good at concealing their intentions. Very good. My little brother's like that. My brother, he looks very he looks very mixed. You wouldn't think he was black, and he conceals his intentions a lot, especially when he's around the black people. You won't know what's on his mind. So I think so. 2.5 out of 3 you're on so far. Light-skinned men, not bad. 2.5 out of 3. Now, law 4: always say less than necessary. And what would your opinion be on that? I tend to think, again, this one is environmental, depending on what group you've grown up in. I think if you've grown up within black community, or had more of a black influence in your life, I think the light-skinned man will tend to be more vocal regarding what is happening with him, what's going on with him. And yeah, I would say that's environmental, because I know a few mixed light-skinned men who've grown up within a European environment, and they always say they're not really communicative where it's unnecessary. So I think that's an environmental thing. I definitely see a difference depending on where you have been brought up. What are your thoughts about that? Okay. Okay, right, no thoughts as yet, that's fine. So I would say in that respect, I would say half yes, half no, simply because half yes, half no, simply because I think that one would be environmental. And I've definitely seen light-skinned men who always say less than necessary, but I see a lot who always say a lot more than necessary. Okay, so out of 4, 3, no, out of 4, 3 so far, because we've got 2 halves. Okay, law 5: so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. I don't believe that. Well, based on conversations that have been had in the lives of Anon and light-skinned motivation, a lot of light-skinned men have articulated that they feel their reputation's tarnished in terms of they're not seen as black, they're not seen as masculine, they're seen as effeminate, they're seen as weak, not able to defend themselves, they're not able to fight. But okay, now that's how a lot of light-skinned men perceive it. And I remember there was a particular YouTuber that Anon and light-skinned motivation had to do a response video for. I'm not going to mention his name because I just think it's a bit unnecessary. But I remember he kept going on, because after they did a response to him, I even went on his YouTube channel to hear, because I wasn't sure what was happening. And he was talking about, he was saying that in New Jack City, Christopher Williams' character, he was told by Nino Brown that he was a pretty MF anyway, and he didn't like him. But I'm not sure why everyone focuses on him in the film, because you had Ice-T in the film, another light-skinned man. And when you look at it, in that film, New Jack City, Ice-T, he was the father, the mentor, the savior, the protector. He was the policeman, and he was out there protecting the community. He also was the father and a de facto father to Chris Rock's character, the one who became addicted to crack, and the one that became addicted to crack. And I don't see why everyone focused on Christopher Williams. And Christopher Williams had a very small part And I don't know why the focus was on him per se, because even if you looked at Christopher Williams' character, he didn't really say much. He was it an accountant or a lawyer? So he was someone of high standing anyway. Why did it matter what this criminal had to say about him? And that's why I couldn't understand that YouTuber's vitriol and sort of anger at what happened in that film, when you had Ice-T who was showing, who was trying to show what men should be like, and he was a light-skinned man. So I think in terms of reputation, if you're going to look at light-skinned men's reputation through the eyes of Blackness, I do think light-skinned men have a right to be upset, because through that prism, you aren't seen in your true light. But the thing is, you have to remember, in that community, fatherhood isn't cherished. Being a protector, being a provider, looking out for your community, looking out for the most vulnerable in your community. And that's why Ice-T was a policeman. He's looking out for the most vulnerable people. That isn't, those attributes aren't the main attributes that are celebrated in that community. And that's why I think in many ways, they aren't the right people to measure a light-skinned person's, light-skinned man's attributes as a man, because there's so many failings in that group. In order to get you will never get a coherent, accurate measurement of light-skinned men looking through that prism, and that's why I believe whatever connotation there is about light-skinned men within that community is moot and doesn't matter, because, to be quite honest, that community has very little standing anywhere else. No one else pays attention. I wouldn't say no one else pays attention to what they have to say, but what I'm saying is no one pays attention to any recommendations that come to a community that is dysfunctional. And I don't think light-skinned men should worry about the thoughts emanating from that community, because in the same breath, when I looked at that film, you've got a light-skinned man whose I wouldn't say his reputation, but a light-skinned man who stands for one thing, who stands for doing the right thing. He was a lawyer, he must have had a degree, he'd done the right thing. But that film wasn't there to glorify those things. In that scenario with Nino Brown, he was there to say that world is no good, that world is a load of rubbish. And part of what he did to denigrate Christopher Williams' character was to turn his back on that community. But he is a criminal. He can't join that community anyway. But I will tie that in because it ties into another law in Robert Greene's book. And it will be quite interesting when we get to it. But in terms of overall reputation as light-skinned men, I don't believe light-skinned men have bad reputation at all. I don't believe they, and I think one of the reasons why light-skinned men have a very good reputation, like over here we have this light-skinned, well, he's mixed-race actor, but he's still light-skinned. What is he called? Colin Salmon. And he was actually about 10 or 15 years ago, he was actually tipped to be the next James Bond. But that's why I don't know where this Idris Elba sort of thing came along, because Colin Salmon, if you look him up, I think he was in Resident Evil. He was the one that went into the chamber and those lasers came out and he fell into a pile of flesh in the first 10 minutes of the film. However, you've got what I know of Colin Salmon, Will Smith also. Will Smith did a lot to set a great foundation for light-skinned men in terms of their their reputation. And I will come to Will Smith again because I'm going to use an example for another law. So yes, so again, a point for that, light-skinned men. So you're not doing too badly in the 48 laws of power. You're not doing too badly. So out of 5, you've got 4. So 4. Okay, law 6, court attention at all costs. And a brief synopsis of this is: surround your name with sensational and the scandalous. Be better to be slandered and attacked than ignored. Every crowd has a silver lining. At the start of your career, you must attach your name and reputation to quality and an image that sets you apart from other people. Create an air of mystery. And to be quite honest, I have to say that I really think that light-skinned men achieve A+ in this. And the reason I would say en masse light-skinned men achieve an A+ in this, I would say is because light-skinned men put a lot of effort into their looks. They, on the whole, most light-skinned men put a lot of effort into their looks. By the very fact of our phenotypes can vary very differently. Some light-skinned men have blue eyes, green eyes, hazel eyes, grey eyes, wavy hair, straight hair, tight curly hair, straight nose, wide nose, big lips. Like our phenotype could be anything, and I think by the very nature of that, light-skinned men caught attention, and I think that they caught attention in a very humble and in a very humble way. It's not in your face. It's not. I think I'm better than you. I'm pretty. Bow down to me. It's very different to how a lot of men who caught attention carry themselves. So you get a 1 for that. You get a 1 for that. And an example of that in I would say the media is I would say Chris Brown, Drake, Will Smith. I think they caught attention. Sometimes Chris Brown gets it a little wrong, but he's young. But on the whole, I think light-skinned men are very good at that. Okay, now law 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Now, I have to say, light-skinned guys, fellow ladies, you get a nil point for that. And the reason I say that is we go out and do the work for other people and they take the credit. They take the credit. And when you look at films like Malcolm X, light-skinned people, especially when we do things, we get whitewashed out of history and suddenly we become brown and dark-skinned people. And I think that happens a lot for light-skinned men. I think that happens a lot for light-skinned men because especially when light-skinned men do something in the name of blackness, it doesn't serve the black community right, or they feel right for that image to be seen for whatever honor has arisen from what that light-skinned person does. They don't want light-skinned people to be the face of that. And I think in many ways, light-skinned men are robbed, but I think also in many ways we are taught to not stand up for achievements, where light-skinned men are taught not to want to be the face of achievement for black people. We are told, especially light-skinned men are told, that you just go out and do the work and let someone else take the credit. And that's why I like how when Will Smith came out with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, subsequent Bad Boys that he did, I thought that laid a really good initial foundation for light-skinned men to build their reputation and to market themselves off of. because many great heroes in history, like we know Malcolm X was a light-skinned man, but because many of his interviews were done in black and white, that's not obvious to everyone, and it's very easy to consign Malcolm X to just blackness because you cannot see his actual skin color. So I think, and I can't blame you for not achieving that law, light-skinned black men, because I can't blame you for that, because in many ways you are cultivated not to achieve that, and light-skinned women too. So in terms of getting others to do the work for you, but always taking the credit, light-skinned men, it's always the other way around. It's always the other way around. So nil point for that. So you're still on. Okay, you're still on 5. Okay, so law 8, make others come to you and use bait if necessary. And I think light-skinned men are very good at that, making others come to you. I think you're very good at that. And I think the reason why you're very good at that is because you court attention at all costs. And when you court attention at all costs and you make yourself the focus of attention, people want to know, people want to see, people want to know why. People are interested. It stirs up interest. So I think, again, very good at that. Light-skinned men, pat yourselves on the back. So make other people come to you and use bait if necessary. And light-skinned black men, you know the bait is the looks, isn't it? The bait is the looks, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So far you're on 6. 6 out of 8. Okay. So law number 9, win through your actions, never through argument. And I really feel that I have to say this, that I really feel I have to say this. Always show us with your actions. Will Smith, I never heard him once say, okay, dark-skinned guys say this about me, this people say this about me. You know what he did? He went out there, he done his work, he done what he had to do, and he did more. That was it. That was his focal point. He, to my knowledge, I've never seen him publicly debate anyone about anything anyone's ever said about him. And even with the stuff that's come up recently between him, the August guy, I can't pronounce his, and the whole entanglement issue, even with that, and that is a reason for any guy to just kick off. He didn't. Well, publicly he didn't, and to my knowledge, he's never publicly done anything to argue with people. He's always focused on his actions and his movies and his achievements. And I think as light-skinned black men, it's very easy to be drawn into arguments. And that's why I say forget about blackness, because blackness, when you die and you have your tombstone on your grave, it's not going to read, here lies Leon, the blackest black man that ever lived. It's going to say, here lies Leon, and your legacy is going to be the people that come and see you, come and tend to your grave, and the legacy that you leave behind for those people to honor you. Because I have to say, I remember I went to Barbados in 2013, and I was doing a lot of research into my family history. And as part of that, I found a plot where my grandmother's father was buried. And it was really bad. No one had tended to this plot. No one had looked after it. Like it was the only plot there, overgrown and not looked after. And it just made me think that this person had done so much, because I heard about the stuff that they did, but they wasn't a very nice person. And it just made me think that what is important in this life? What is important in this life? Is it being right? Is it the arguments you win? Or is it the legacy and the love that you leave behind? And I think that is more important. And that's why I think these arguments, the constant need for rebuttaling of every point stupid people make, is just going to lead you down a rabbit hole of wasted time. Instead of building your legacy, you're giving your energy to losers. So I would say, based on Will Smith, he did it for you. Light-skinned men, I'll give you one for that. One for that. Win through your actions, never through arguments. Always through your actions. Arguments are futile. So you guys are on a 7. Okay. Okay. Avoid law 10, infection. Avoid the unhappy or the unlucky. When you suspect you are in the presence of an infector, don't argue, don't try to help, don't pass the person on to your friends, or you will become enmeshed. Flee the infector's presence or suffer the consequences. And I have to say, en masse, most light-skinned men achieve this attribute, because when you look at all these colorism channels, when you look at the people who are trying to push this narrative about light-skinned people, how light-skinned people take things away from others, and all these stupid things, light-skinned men are weak, they're not alpha, blah, 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 all these stupid arguments. You know why they have time for these stupid arguments and these stupid statements? It's because they are unhappy and unlucky. They are the infectors, and you need to stay away from them. You need to stay away from them. And I think in most part, light-skinned black men do. I think, to be quite honest, it's light-skinned black women who have the problem in that respect, because by feminine nature, we're always looking to forgive, we're always looking to turn the other cheek, that type of thing. Whereas men are more logical, and men are more willing to just cut people dead and say, look, you tried it, I'm done, I'm over it. Whereas women aren't so much. But yeah, I have to say, in terms of avoid the unhappy or the unlucky, I would say light-skinned men, you get a 1 for that too. Okay, we're on law 11 now. I might do this in 2 parts. I think I might. So we're on 48 laws. I think I'll do 24, and then I will do another part later on in the week, because otherwise we're just going to be here for ages, because there are a lot of laws here. There's 48. So I'll just see how we feel. And again, let me just, can I post this? Because I can't do the right click on this laptop. I don't know what's up with, okay. Can I do that? Can I? So I just want to put the link in again for anyone who wants to come up, because like I said, if you've got other examples, if you don't agree with some of the examples that I've given, or you've got better examples, please feel free to come up and let me know, because this is a forum for everyone. Okay, so I'm just posting the link again now. Oh God, there you go. Okay, so we're down to law number 11, I believe. Learn to keep people dependent on you. And that is a really good law. But see, light-skinned men, I have to say, I don't think you guys have mastered that one. Now, Beyonce has mastered that. Beyonce has mastered that to a T. Beyonce puts out Black Girl, King, and everyone is bowing down back again to Beyonce. Beyonce is the Black community's parent personified. Look at what Beyonce does, guys, because you need to do the same. and not in a feminine way. I'm not saying getting your leotard and go do what she does. What I'm saying is it's the optics of what she does. It's the, and I think actually no, I was going to say maybe we think Will Smith is able to do that, but no, not really. No, he doesn't. So that's fine. I don't think you guys achieve that, learning to keep people dependent on you. I don't think you guys achieve that en masse. I've not seen it. I've seen the beginnings of it. The beginnings of it that I saw was in Chris Brown's video, where him and Drake did the video together for his last song. Well, not his last song, a few songs ago. And he said, "Oh, us light skinned guys, we've got to stick together." And I just thought, that's good one. That's a good thing to say, Chris. I'm glad you said that. Because they've always been trying to set Chris Brown and Drake in opposition to each other and beef and whatnot against Rihanna. Just total stupidity, just total stupidity. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't think you've achieved that law. Learn to keep people dependent on you. How would you do that? I would say, look to Beyonce. She's the queen. She's the queen of that. And what she does is she does it in a parental way. When you look at what people say about Beyonce, go and look on her Black is King video. Go and look at her Black Girl. Is it Black Girl? I can't remember the one she done with her daughter. Look at all the comments. Everyone wants Beyonce to be their mother. They want her to be their mother. She's the mother principal. She is what that people look at her in the Black community and think, I want my mother to be like that. Beyonce's helping my self-esteem beyond. And Beyonce light skin. But yeah, sorry guys, you don't achieve number 11. But we shall carry on. Law 12, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Now, I have to say, light-skinned men, you do that well. But why do you only do it for ladies? Why do you only do it for ladies? You can do that to the guys, selective honesty and generosity to disarm them. Men can give you a lot too. And I'm not saying that in a gay way. I'm saying that in a power way. Because remember, this is the 48 laws of power. You don't have to keep it just to the women. There are things that you can do to, to achieve certain things and get what you want. Get things that are going to help you build the foundation for the light-skinned community that Will Smith has helped you do. That's what I'm trying to say. But no, I don't think you guys have achieved that one either. Okay, I'll give you a half a point for that. I'll give you 0.5. We're on 12. 0.5. So we're on 8.5. Because you do that with the ladies. I've seen you guys in full effect with the women, in their ear, sweet little nothings. But I don't see you guys using that in the business world. I don't see you using that with your careers. I don't see you doing that. So I think that's something you guys have got to work on. That's all right. That's okay. You don't get it all. But yeah, off the ladies, guys, off the ladies. Okay, law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never their mercy or gratitude. Right. Who can I think of where it relates to that? When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never their mercy. Again, en masse, I don't think I've seen that. And the thing that comes to mind to me was the trouble that Chris Brown found himself in when him and Rihanna had that tete-a-tete in his car, I think it was 10 or 11 years ago. And when he was doing the rounds, he was appealing to people's mercy. He wasn't appealing to people's self-interest in relation to his music or his career. And that set him back for a while. but I think after a while he just kind of was over it, and he just got on and did what he had to do, and that was good for him. But again, I've not, and again, no, you guys don't do that. I'm thinking about Drake, when that hoo-ha came up about him having a child by that lady that does pornos, and he was just there talking about Kanye, how Kanye sort of told people, he only told Kanye, Kanye was the only person that he told, and he believed that Kanye had told Pusha T and other people about his son and the circumstance in which his son was brought into the world. And again, when he was talking about that, it was kind of, he was kind of throwing himself in that podcast with, I think it was LeBron James, he was kind of throwing himself on the mercy of the Black community, and we know there's no mercy there. So that was, I felt, I just didn't like that interview. I just thought, no, you should have just, that, I just think he should have just not spoken about it rather than doing that podcast with LeBron. I just thought it was distasteful for him, and it did nothing for him. So, you guys, Law 13, you guys haven't done well there. Just see, yeah, I'm keeping score, light skin privilege. We're still on 8.5, and we're only on law 14. Right, okay, law 14, pose as a friend, work as a spy. Now, I know light-skinned men have that on lock, posing as a friend, because the thing is, we realize we don't got no friends, so the only thing that we can ever be, spy, because we realize early on we ain't got no friends. My little brother, he's the biggest spy going. He has no friends. Well, he has associates. He will call them friends, but the way that he acts with them, I always say they're not your friends, they're your associates, because he's always got information about this one, and when he's ready to use it to either ingratiate himself with someone else or just to stir up problem so that all eyes are off him, yes. Light skin guys, you got that on pat, and you know you have. You know this, don't you? Yes. I see you, Caesar. You know this. So, yeah, you get a 1 for that. So 9.5 out of 14. Not bad, not bad. 9.5. Okay. Oh, this is a hard one. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. And the reason why this one is hard is, for this one, I've thought about Malcolm X and Farrakhan. They're part of the same organization, both lighties. And if you even think about it, think of that back then, 2 light-skinned men, Caribbean roots, the head of this black organization in America. How the hell did they do that? They must have been very smart, very charismatic. They were great men. Well, one is still alive, so he's still a great man. But one was able to crush his enemy totally, and one wasn't able to do that. Malcolm picked a fight, and he picked a fight he couldn't win. Whereas Farrakhan, okay, allegedly, because I wasn't there, I don't know. Farrakhan allegedly arranged for Malcolm X's execution. And so you've got 2 light-skinned men. One was able to crush his enemy, which was Malcolm X, and the other wasn't. So I think for that one, you guys get half. You conflicted with that one. You conflicted. Guys, you need to decide en masse with that, what you're going to do. If you're not willing to crush your enemy totally, don't get in the ring. Okay, we're down to law 16. Use absence to increase strength and honor. Now, the brief synopsis of this is the more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. If you are already established in a group, Temporary withdrawal from it will make you more talked about, even more admired. You must learn when to leave, create value through scarcity. At the start of an affair, you need to heighten your presence in the eyes of, you need to heighten your presence in the eyes of the other. If you absence yourself too early, you may be forgotten. But once your lover's emotions are engaged and the feelings of love are crystallized, absence inflames and excites. Giving no reason for your absence excites even more. Now, light skin guys, you know you got this one too. Like, I'm just going to give you the point. You know, the looks, the hair, the phenotype. You know that you use that to your benefit. Let's put it that way. But guys, again, these are things that you can use in business. These are things that you can use in your everyday life to help you. Don't just use it for ladies. Using it for ladies is easy. Use it with everyone. Use it. And I think because light-skinned men are on the periphery, like light-skinned women of most communities, you can use that to your advantage in a lot of ways. Don't just use it for the ladies. Don't hurt the ladies, light-skinned men. It's not nice. Use it in all aspects. Be equal opportunity absentee. Okay? So you get a 1 for that. So right now, you guys are sitting on 11. Okay, law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Okay, I can't think of an example of that. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Do you guys have an example of this? Hello? Do you guys have an example? I can't think of one in relation to that law that I've seen. I think, I don't know, maybe that's more in an overtly male environment where I'm not really privy to. Keep others in suspended terror, cultivate air of unpredictability. I've never seen a scenario which I've seen a light-skinned man use that tool. If you guys can think of something, let me know. If not, I'm just going to skip on to 18 because I can't think of one for that one. I might come back to it though as we go further on. Okay, law 18. Do not build a fortress to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. And I think in many ways, sometimes light-skinned men do build a fortress, but I think they build a fortress against whoever's causing them the most harm. Because I've seen light-skinned men build fortresses against Black community. I've seen light-skinned people build fortresses against people from the white community. But I wouldn't say they're isolated because they normally join or are on the periphery of another group anyway. We're kind of always in the middle. So I would say you build a fortress to protect yourself, but I wouldn't say you're isolated. I wouldn't say light-skinned men are isolated. So no, I will give you a point for that one. So you get a point for that. So you guys are on 12 out of 18. Not bad, not bad. Okay, know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. And I think I'm going to give you 1 for that as well. And the reason why I'm going to give you 1 for that is if you go back to law 1, never outshine the master. Light-skinned men never outshine the master. And you never outshine the master because you always know who you're dealing with and you know who not to offend. So I'm going to give you that, guys. 13 out of 19. 13 out of 19, not bad. Okay, law 20. Do not commit to anyone. Do not commit to anyone. Do not commit to anyone. Let me just read the footnotes for this one. Do not commit to anyone, but be courted by all. When you hold yourself back, you incur not anger, but kind of respect. You instantly seem powerful because you make yourself ungraspable rather than succumbing to the group or to the relationship as most people do. People who rush to the support of others tend to gain little respect in the process, for their help is so easily obtained, while those who stand back and find themselves besieged with supplicants. Do not commit to anyone, stay above the fray. Remember, you only have so much energy and so much time. Every moment wasted on affairs with others subtracts from your strength. And I think in many ways, light-skinned men, once they've got through that initial hurdle of realizing they don't have friends, I think they do not commit to anyone. And I think in many ways, they take that to an extreme, and it can be self-isolating. But I think light-skinned men have that down pat. Once they've got past the friend stage and realizing they don't, not to put a lot of trust in friends, I think they do not commit to anyone. I think they stay committed to their family, but in terms of third parties, no, they do not commit fully to anyone. And it can be sad to see, but it is what it is. So you get a point for that one. 14 out of 20. Not bad, light-skinned men, not bad. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Again, light-skinned men, I think you have that one down pat. Because the thing is, as a tactic growing up, even looking at the example that I gave of my peer, gentleman called Mark, and whenever he would talk about the things that the women that he liked or things like that, it'd always be thrown back in his face. In many ways, and he was a very smart guy. He was a smart introvert looking back now. But he always played, when he was around those types of people, he would always play stupid, like be the laughing guy, having a laugh, joking around, doing all of that. But when we left school, this guy had straight A's. This guy had straight A's. And he was a very smart guy. He knew that he couldn't play the smart guy with the people that were around us and not be turned into a victim by them. So he always played dumb. And I would say he did play a sucker to catch a sucker, because as soon as he left school, he never spoke to those people again. He just played dumb in order to get along. And then once he was out of school, I don't think anyone saw him again. Because when I asked about him, the people that used to really hang around with him, he was only in 1 or 2 of my classes, but no one ever heard from him again. He was out. So 15 out of 21. 15 out of 21. Okay. Okay, law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. People try to make a show of their authority and are easily deceived by the surrender tactic. It's always our first instinct to react to meet aggression with other kinds of aggression. But the next time someone pushes you and you find yourself starting to react, try this. Do not resist or fight back. Just yield and turn the other cheek and bend. If you surrender instead, you have the opportunity to coil around your enemy and strike with your fangs from close up. It's quite interesting. But I think in many ways, light-skinned men have mastered the surrender tactic. And I don't think they've mastered the surrender tactic because they're any less of a man. They've mastered that tactic because they are very limited in numbers. And again, based on the learning to not put your faith in people, we know how fickle the people are who we grow up around are, and where their allegiances truly lie in terms of color. And I think a lot of light-skinned black men use the surrender tactic because they know they're going to be coming back another time. And the thing is, a lot of times when people are very aggressive, it's because they're pushing a narrative because they are in the right place to strike. And I think in many ways, light-skinned men know this, and that's why they don't rise to the bait of it, because they know whatever they do, they're going to be in the wrong of that. And I don't mean in the wrong isn't right or wrong. I mean, the person's pushing a narrative because it's the right conditions for them to strike against you. And light-skinned people and men know, just because it's the right time for you doesn't mean it's going to be the right time for me. And if I react to you, I'm not going to get the outcome that I'm looking for. I'm going to give you the outcome you're looking for. So I think light-skinned black men learn to use the surrender tactic out of necessity. So guys, I'll give you one for that, 22. So 16 out of 22. Not doing bad, people. 2 more to go. Concentrate on your forces. It says intensity defeats extensity every time. Concentrate on your forces. I'm not sure where I've seen that. Does anyone have an example of that? Because one doesn't come to mind for me. And it could be that I've never been in that male environment to see that. Otherwise, it just could be that, I don't know, I've never seen that. So I think I might skip that one. Concentrate on your forces. I might come back to that. So the last, well, it's not the last one, but we've got halfway through. Play the perfect courtier. The laws of the court politics. Avoid ostentation, practice nonchalance, be frugal with flattery, arrange to be noticed, alter your style, language according to the person you are dealing with. Never be the bearer of bad news, never affect friendliness and the intimacy with your master. Never criticize those above you directly. Be frugal in asking those above you for favors. Never joke about appearances of taste. Do not be the court cynic. Be the self-observant master of your emotions. Fit the spirit of the times. Be the source of pleasure. And again, based on the previous laws that we've discussed, I think light-skinned men are the perfect courtiers because we have to wear many hats, have to wear many faces. And I think in many ways, light-skinned black men have to reinvent themselves every now and again, because I think once they learn through being a friend but being a spy, I think they're able to transition into spaces, and as they're able to transition into those spaces, they have to adapt and change to be in those spaces. So I think that light-skinned black men are the perfect courtiers. I'm just trying to think of an example of that. One example I can think of that was that Farnsworth guy who used to be like P. Diddy's butler at one point. I'm not sure exactly what the hell he was, but I know he was light-skinned and he came with this persona. Then he started being in music videos and he started taking off himself. And I would say he was the courtier, definitely. And he never outshone P. Diddy. So, yeah, light-skinned men. Yeah, you get one for that. So far out of we got halfway through. So we got to 24 and you guys got, so let me go back to 23. Concentrate your forces. Aha, yeah, I wrote a note for that one, sorry. Concentrate your forces. I put Drake versus Chris Brown. And I put Drake versus Chris Brown is because, again, in that video where Chris Brown says to Drake, oh, look, us light-skinned guys, we've got to stick together. And I think that was him saying, look, people, I've got no beef with Drake. We're both light skinned, and I'm going to put that above any sort of beef and let him know publicly that we're light skinned guys and we're going to stick together. And I just thought that was I just thought that was really good, because I think in many ways, light skinned men are taught to stick to other groups, taught to fit into blackness, taught to fit into whatever it is out there, or reinvent themselves, suddenly become Chinese culture identified, Japanese culture identified, Thai culture identified, Hindu, everything else. But they're not taught to stick together as light-skinned men. Never. And I just thought that was a really good thing to do and a really good message for other light-skinned men. Like, we're limited, we got to stick together. And even though it was part of a funny video, I just thought it was a really good message. So yeah, you get a point for that one too. So out of 24, you guys are on 18, which is not bad. So in terms of power, we've got halfway through the 48 laws. And from my observation, light-skinned men, you're doing quite good out of it. There are some bits that you have to focus on, but you're doing very good. Now, I'm going to, where are we going? Yeah, so I'm going to reconvene this live stream to do part 2 of the 48 laws, because I had so much technical difficulties earlier, which thank you everyone for bearing with me, because it was terrible. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but it was, I enjoyed it. So I'm going to do a part 2 to this, so we can go over the other 48 laws. I've made some notes, and I've got some examples as to if you're doing good or bad, and I'll let you guys chime in on that. But yeah, so I'm just going to open up for some general chat and let everyone who wants to talk have a word with everyone. Why is everyone talking about salmon, collard greens, and cornbread? What is that? I know what salmon is, but what collard greens? See, I've had cornbread before. I think cornbread tastes a bit strange. Oh, thank you, asking privilege. One can only try. It is my first live on my own. I've never done one on my own. I was hoping to get my sister to be my co-host, but she's on holiday at the moment in Greece, so she couldn't make it today. But it would have been quite fun with her, because she's more of an extrovert and out there. I'm more of an introvert, so it would have been quite a funny dynamic, because yeah, she has some interesting things to say. Okay, I like kale. I think kale's lovely, but you have to be careful with oh, you're an INFJ. I'm an INTJ. See, INFJs are really rare, really rare. INFJ, yeah, INFJ. I remember I was talking to an INFJ guy, and oh goodness, he very sensitive, very sensitive. Like, sometimes I just tread over the feelings of what I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. You should join there's this YouTube group, not YouTube group, Facebook group, INTJ and INFJs. It's just so funny, because like, it's always the INFJs are just like, oh, how can I please my INTJ? And the INTJ is like, oh, how can I stop hurting this INFJ? Because we're a bit, I don't know, we're a bit, I would say a bit socially awkward when it comes to feelings. We're not feeler type people. We're more intuitive. So we kind of step over people's feelings without meaning to. I think it's because we've got low SE, cognitive function. So I try. And I know you guys do get lonely, but I was watching this video from C.S. Joseph, and he talks about the cognitive. Me and my sister were talking to me and my sister were talking about INFJs the other day, because I think her perfect match is an INFJ, and we were talking about the cognitive functions, and I share quite a few cognitive functions of INFJs, but the feeling part that I don't have, it really makes a difference, because I don't mean to hurt INFJs, but I end up doing so. But so me and my sister were watching this C.S. Joseph video, and we was looking at the virtue and vice of the INFJ, and basically they don't feel like they're worthy, and that's a shame, because INFJs are like, if you've got an arrow, the INFJs are the tip of the arrow. They're there to lead everyone. They're there to lead everyone to utopia. They're there to balance all of the personality types, and it's unfortunate that they feel like this. Oh, good night, Caesar. Oh, thank you. We're going to do part 2. I'm going to advertise the part 2 again. Sorry, I had a very funny start, but it was a learning curve. But thank you for joining us, Caesar. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, so the INFJ, the INFJs, they don't feel like they're worthy, and they have a lot of issues in terms of their self-worth. The guy that I used to talk to, he was INFJ. I used to find him really fascinating, but he had a very, I won't say troubled life, but his mum died early in his life, and that had a profound effect on him, and it's like he was always searching for his mum, subconsciously, in all the women that he approached. And I just found that very odd to observe. I just thought, okay. I just thought if you didn't have a parent, you didn't have a parent. I didn't realize on some level subconsciously you go looking for that. But yeah, that's what he did. And yeah, it was just very strange. But no, INFJs, really good people, very caring, very loyal. Very good. Yep. The eternal answers to questions, INFJs. But like I said, they're the tip. They're here to lead humanity. That's what you guys are here for. And that's why it's a bit sad when I found out the vice of INFJs were that they didn't feel worthy. They have a lot of self-worth issues.